What's up, Kwanza Global family?
Yo!
We're back with episode 5.
Episode 5, you heard?
So we're going to be talking about this topic today is going to be called Beauty in the Pain. So Beauty in the Pain is basically...
Not Beauty in the...
it's just basically about...
it's actually like Beauty and the Beast. Think about that, baby. Because Beauty and the Beast, literally, like, she saw the beast and she saw light into it. She changed her situation and she turned into a fairy tale. I'm telling you, listen,
I can see that.
Listen,
that's basically, that's a good example.
She married her situation and turned out to be fabulous.
Basically, this topic is basically just about looking at your pain and seeing the beauty inside of it. So we all go through pain universally. We all go through that in our lives. But, it's how we look at it, that makes the difference. You can either look at it from a place of, just beating ourselves up and just feeling guilty or ashamed or feeling angry, whatever it may be, whatever emotions we may feel, it is just, we've been through that pain, but how do we look at it in a sense that where it's like now you use it to help you grow, you use it to help other people grow when you share your story about what you've been through. And we've all been through different things, so your story is just as important as anyone else's.
Getting out of it is not always the solution. I feel like people always, when they're caught up into, something really bad, like a pain, like you were saying, really like a really bad situation, going that place, they're always thinking about how do I get out of it? How do I get out of it? But how God said, thinking about what is it teaching me?
Yeah, exactly.
What is it teaching me? Yeah. And how from this situation, how am I gonna move forward with myself? Because I feel like we are always like caught up with that getting out of it mindset, and we don't try to understand how our situation is trying to increase. I mean, it's trying to put us in that other level of our lives.
It could be trying to just teach you a lesson. It could be it could be any of those things. Trying to teach you a lesson, trying to give you a fresh perspective or something. So all of that is actually possible. So because you could literally be going through it right now, and you could use, just thinking about it and reflecting. If you're already out of, that's the situation you've been in, and reflecting. And if you're in it now, trying to understand what it is you're going through and what you can get from it right now, it's all possible. But, again, we all have our individual experiences. So what we get from it could be different from someone else. That is why, it's also important for us to really we could just
not look at the other person journey. Everyone has their own path.
And just share it too. Yeah. We have to share our experiences.
Listen, I always
talk about it and try to get, someone else's perspective.
I'm emphasizing on sharing because talking and sharing with someone, you don't know what that other person might be going through.
Yeah. It's
really important because I feel like most of the time, like, it's really like, do you know how good that feels when you actually share something and somebody said, oh my God, this isn't what is actually what I was going through, and what you're sharing is actually helping me. And it kind of makes me feel like I'm not the only person going through that, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like we don't know how much we are so similar, how much we have in common until we share.
Yeah.
That thing you're going through, somebody else could be going through the same thing, even worse.
Yeah.
But because you shared that, that person kind of feels like she made it out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So can I.
Yeah.
Whether it's in anything really, I feel like let me just give you an example. Like when I was in college, I was going through that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a science or math person. I hate that subject. I hate these subjects. Okay, um, it was just it was really tough in my. It was another level of algebra that I was in. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, I was going through it. And my classmate, which that girl, she's you know she's I'm seeing her. She's always participating. She seems like she knows a lot and everything. And then I don't know. One day I was at the library. I was just doing my homework, and that girl came up to me and then she was like, "Do you know if there's any tutor for that? You know, there's any. Do you know if there's a tutor for class?" And I'm like, I looked at him like, are you serious? Like, I'm saying, you seems like you know a lot. You know, usually when they know you don't need help, you just go to the library and get your work done. You go home. Meanwhile, I was just sitting there. I mean, I had seen already a tutor, but I was just there doing my homework because they don't help you. They have a certain time to being there and tutor you. So I was doing my. I was like, oh, you actually missed it, and she was like, oh my gosh, I need help with that homework. With this class is killing me. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, wait, are you serious? She's like, yeah, that class is hard. That professor is an asshole. And I'm like, wait, but you seem like you know, like you seem like you're very, you know, like you have knowledge. You're always participating. She's like, no, girl, I am actually struggling. My grade is bad. I was like, you have no idea how that makes me feel. Not only because she said she was doing bad, but because I shared something, and that was like kind of a relief. I didn't feel like I had to carry on my whole life in college and feeling guilty for not actually being good. I felt like I shared something because it was so personal.
Yeah.
I let it out there,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't feel bad about myself. I literally let it out there, and that helped me because
Mm-hmm.
she told me she was also struggling, and together we we actually worked together to figure that out. And we
Yeah.
passed the class. Believe it or not, we I
Mm-hmm.
think I had an A minus. She had a A or something.
Yeah.
We passed the class with success. Just to
That's
tell
what's
you
up.
that
Yeah.
there is nothing wrong with share whether you're failing, whether you are doing good.
Yeah.
It's always good to put it out there.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know how that can turn out. You don't know how that can help someone.
Mm-hmm.
There's always beauty in the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Beauty in the pain doesn't always mean because like you know like a terrible just because I'm in this terrible place mean like because it's terrible that means it's good because like I could have because like it's going to like I don't know because it's going to be like it could have been bad but
Mm-hmm.
because I'm here
Mm-hmm.
it's like okay
Yeah,
know.
like it could have been instead of it could have been worse, but just trying to actually see something from it. I think
Mhm.
it's just more. It's more than just
It's more
you
than just
know.
looking at
I
it
think it's
as
just
a
more than just it being a saying. You know, because
mhm.
people always say look at the bright side. I think people never actually look at it. You know, at the other end, you
Actually
kind of.
looking at
I
the
think.
problem and facing it owning that
Yeah.
you have a problem. It's
Yeah.
okay to acknowledge your problem first
Yeah.
because without acknowledge or without being honest with yourself,
Yeah.
looking at yourself be like this is my problem,
I
you will
think you have
never
to
be able to
break it down
right
to.
you will
I
never
think you have to break it down to where it's
yeah
like
there's steps to it and that's how you see the
what.
beauty into the pain.
Yeah, where it's like you learn. Not only do you learn from it, but sometimes what you're going through, you have to just accept. Sometimes it's just it's just a part of life. It's just a stage, and you have to go. You have to get through it. You know, you either get through it or you stop, and you never want to stop. You know, either get through it or you stop where you are and you give up. And that's the last thing you want to do is just give up and quit. You know, especially when you know it's something you have to accomplish, and it's and it's even when it's tough. Sometimes you have to go through that pain, go through what makes you uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
learn from it because sometimes the worst things that we I think we scare ourselves sometimes and we put fear into our hearts, um, because we don't know what to expect. We don't want we fear the unknown. So therefore, once we go through it, sometimes we even give ourselves unnecessary pain and stress because we're worrying ourselves too much about something we haven't even tried yet or you know gone through. And then afterwards, once you put yourself through that uncomfortable
Situation.
situation and process, we realized that it wasn't as bad as we made it in our
Yeah, we made
heads.
it seem in our heads.
Even though it was hard, it just wasn't as bad. And then you see the beauty in it because it's like, hey, I learned something. I learned something and I got something from it. And now next time, whatever, if especially if it comes down to it's that same situation again, you won't be afraid or
Yo,
you won't be intimidated because you've already been through it and you've learned whatever you've
yo,
learned,
babe, it's
so
so
you're able to grow now.
right. It's
you
so
know?
true what you're saying because I'm sorry to bring up the college example because it's all I can really think of. Not because I haven't gone through stuff. Trust me, if I want to tell you my whole life right now, we will not finish this whole podcast. Matter of fact, I will in another podcast or however he records it. But whatever. Not like my life has been horrible. Not even not perfect either. My life has been normal. Like any person, I'm human. But let me talk about my example, okay? So I'm gonna bring up college because I feel like college honestly is like I just feel like as a freshman, brand new, going to college, we make often mistakes, right? We're like we think we know what we want to do, going in there, taking all these classes, then realize, boom, that's not what I want to do. Then guess what? Next semester we come back, we're wiser, we're better. We know. Oh, last semester was shit. I thought I knew what I wanted to do, but guess what? Nope, didn't turn out how I wanted. This semester I know better. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. So I ain't gonna take the same classes again, right? So you are learning and you're getting better. Third semester, boom. No, you know what you want to do. You take those classes, you pass in classes, whatever. You want to take more classes, you want to discover yourself more because you feel like you're not quite there yet. That's okay. But I'm like the way I'm saying is like with every year, every semester when you come up, you know better about yourself. You kind of see as like you're not really like it's like you're challenging yourself at the same time. Like it's okay to think that's what you want to do. You think you know yourself. Like you kind of look at whatever you are in as like I knew like you think you knew what you were going into, but turn out you didn't know. Then you're stuck.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like, damn, that's not what I expected. Which is okay because as you're pushing through, as you're not stuck, maybe staying stuck at where you are, at where you were, you're still allowing yourself to grow.
Yeah.
So you're not only thinking about getting out of the situation, but you're thinking of ways to grow. You're thinking of ways to excel. You want to succeed.
Yeah.
So you're always thinking of ways to improve. So that is the beauty in the pain, because people will just be like, shoot, I'm stuck. Let me just stay where I'm at. There's nothing I can do. I'm stuck in that darkness, which is wrong because you're not allowing yourself to grow.
Yeah.
You need to allow yourself to grow. Like
that's why it's important to it's important to have a balance because at the same time even though we all go through pain, again, we all deal with it differently. So some people again will go through pain and it'll be too much for them, or they'll allow the pain to have a hold on them, and while other people will use it as motivation and as a tool, essentially to keep to do better. And that's essentially the difference. Someone will use pain, and it becomes basically their downfall. Pain for other people becomes okay, what it's like, all right, this is where I'm at, so what do I do from here, kind of thing. And,
yeah.
They start to show resolve from that point. So I think it's really it's a balance of how we we use those moments of pain and so-called setbacks, or you know we face adversity. So that's really what we have to do. We have to kind of look at it, in a sense that where you think to yourself, what can you do with this? What can I do with what I have right in front of me? What can I do? And you start thinking about it. You know, but you don't let it. You definitely don't want to let it bring you down, for sure. Um, an example that I always remember, from a documentary that I'm actually rewatching, Kobe's Muse documentary, which I love. He talks about just a period in time in his life where he was really going through it, and it was called, if I remember correctly, um, I think that specific, um, I think that specific chapter in there was called the Black Hat, if I remember, but I can't remember now. I think, but anyway, during that this certain this particular scene in the documentary, he just talks about the fact that these darker emotions that we have, and this is why we're going through this pain. Sadness, anger, guilt, shame. You know, this stress, all of these, the stress that we're experiencing because of these darker emotions. That if not handled correctly and taken care of, can be really bad and really toxic. So, what did Kobe do? He used that in his game. He used that to become the Black Mamba. All the haters, all the critics, everyone saying this, that, and the third about him, as if they know who he is as a person, as if they know him, are saying all these things, and the things he's going through in his personal life at that period of time. He had to take control of that. He had to grab that before it became a monster, something that was uncontrollable, something that could potentially have, you know, destroyed him, and made him just, go crazy essentially, right? So he brought in those darker emotions and controlled it and directed it towards what? His game, towards basketball. And that's a Black Mamba that we all know, where it's just killer, cold blooded, out for blood, you know, ready to strike, venomous snake. That's what he became. It was that second persona. You know, who he was on the court was totally different from who he was off the court. In terms of that mentality, that killer mentality, that just cold hearted, you know, just cutthroat mentality, because he used all that anger, all of those darker emotions directed towards basketball, directed towards, you know, what it is that, he was trying to accomplish on that basketball court. And then off the court, all that energy, is left on the court. It was left killing his opponents and, shutting those haters up, shutting those critics up. All of that is, he's zoned in. And in our life, so we have to, again, it's just the concept of controlling, and using what, has happened, what has been laid out, has already happened in our lives, and within that, in regards to that pain and the emotions that come with it, and then using it to gain something from it, using it to benefit us and to be more productive at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day. I think that's what it comes down to. You have to be able to also recognize, that
I struggle.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those moments, where we're going through it, but also being able to
Yeah.
overcome it in some way.
Yeah.
You know,
I totally agree. I feel like you have, we all have, honestly, think about that. We all have potentials. I truly believe that God made every person in this world, in this life. He created each one of us with potential. You cannot tell me that your situation is so bad that you can't even like say, I'm gonna get out of it one day. You know? You can't even say, oh, it's just it's just a it's just a period of time. It's a moment. It's a stage. You know? Telling you, people been through worse. Your situation, you may look at it as being like the worst of all, but people are going through the worst. Thank God every day for your life, for whatever you're going through right now. Thank God for it. And keep it going. Keep it pushing. Don't mind, don't mind the all.
everyone's going through it in some sort of way. So it's just a matter of just changing your perspective and looking at things in a different way. Just kind of digging deeper and trying to see things just differently. Um, it doesn't have to be a matter of you feeling sorry for yourself. You know, as life goes on, you begin to understand things and see things in a much clearer than you did before. So that's just part of the process of it, which is why life can be really funny that way. Some things are just revealed to you um, as you continue to grow through life and experience your ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's important to understand that life has its ups and downs, and not only does it have its ups and downs, within those ups and downs, there's always lessons to be learned,
Yeah.
things
It's
to be
supposed to,
gained.
right. It's supposed to be this way though.
Yeah, it's just how it's just a part. It's just a part of life at the end of the day.
Unless you want to be dead.
Yeah, honestly, unless you're dead,
Like,
it's just how it is. That's just
and
how
even
it's
if
gonna
you're
go.
dead, even if you're dead, this is not it. There's more to life. Life itself is just,
Yeah, there's more. there's more. There's more after. So at the end of the day, we want to make an impact and a legacy. To leave, and you don't want to let you know the fact that life has its tough times, its pain, be the reason you decided not to make an impact and leave a legacy for those that come after, and for those that will need what you have inside of you, that God gave you, you know that light, because that pain was just too much. We're much bigger than whatever we've been through at the end of the day. So we have to understand that and realize that. And we have to use that as fuel and motivation. Um, we have to use it um, to actually give us more, strength in those tough times. That's just more of a badge for us. You go through those tough times, come out of it, and you're stronger than you were when you first went in. And then that's how it goes. You just go through it each and every time, but you come out, still standing. Still alive, and you just keep growing, keep getting stronger that way. You know, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, going through pain, going through the struggle, and understanding what it is you learn from going through those things, and pick that up and just, take what you learned and apply it to whatever you're doing in life, wherever you're at in life. You can just apply what you learned from that. Um, and honestly, again, the best way to apply is just by, you know, letting someone else know who may be needing that advice or needing um, that experience that you've already went through, and you can share that, even if you don't, or at least at the moment don't necessarily have an opportunity to apply what you learn. Someone else can, because they're about to go through the same thing, and then you can just, give them a heads up, or just be just be an example. And that's what it's all about. Um, it's even wiser to learn from other people's mistakes, so then you don't have to even go through it again. you know Sometimes, we just have to go through it, make the mistakes we make and learn from it. But if we can learn even to from other people's mistakes and not even go through that, because we know what it will lead to. In some cases, that's the case where we don't even have to go make the same mistakes, that because we saw that what those mistakes led to, because someone's already been through, that experience. So depending on the situation, you could even avoid, you could help someone avoid, doing something that is, you know, detrimental um, to whatever it is that they're trying to do, that is detrimental to themselves, just by sharing your experience. And that is just, that's big. That's big for sure. So, you could really find a silver lining in, pretty much. I think you if you really I think, really, in any situation, you can just, you really can find a silver lining in every situation, whether it's, no matter how bad it may be, just because of, I believe, just there being a reason for everything. So since there's a reason for everything, even in those bad times and those, really low moments, in life, there being a reason for it, then that's, that reason must be, you know, that's that silver lining, I'm talking about. So that's what you have to try to find. And you can't do it from a place of, you know, of hurt, or, you know, trying to, in a way, still maybe holding on to those, that hurt, where it's not letting you really, it's clouding your judgment, but really actually trying to find what it is you can really get from this, as you continue to move on in life and grow. So I think it's really important to get to get to that kind of
Mindset,
space,
yeah.
that space of where,
To really
of
bring
what
yourself
this,
out of
like,
that.
what does this mean for me? What does this mean right now? And, yeah, and I think it can, I think it can humble you as well. I think that's another thing. I think there's beauty in the fact that it can, going through pain can really humble you. It can make you really understand that there's you can never get too high, and you also can never get too low, though. There's times in life where you just feel on top of the world, and there's times in life where you don't feel so hot, and so on it. But even then, it's like you kind of understand that balance and understand that to keep going. Sometimes you can't be too like, all right, nothing, nothing's gonna, nothing bad's ever gonna happen, and then also not being so pessimistic at the same time, but kind of having that, you know, level headedness, that that calmness, that things are going to work out fine, going to work out well, gonna well, gonna work out in your favor. With within in the midst of the good and those bad times, you know things are still gonna be okay. Things are still gonna work out well. Having that kind of mentality. But you know, understanding that allows you to push forward, because then if you're too high on that horse, when you fall, it's gonna hurt real bad. It's gonna be a wake up call. But if you're too low, then it's kind of like you almost forget what the what being in the light is like. You forget what you know what you forget who you may forget even who you are, and your what your power is, what your strength is. Who what you really have inside you to really get out of it. If you're too low, it may be tough to climb out of that space, and you don't want to be in that. I think that's the dangerous part. So you really just want to be, real level headed, and you know, keep things, keep things, in perspective. In perspective, honestly, you want to keep things in perspective and not lose faith, not lose focus, and really just, I don't know, just stay solid, for real, stay solid. Um, but man, you have to really look at life from a just from a you have to look at things on some different at a different angle at times, you know, and really have to be aware, and really sometimes you have to you again just dealing with pain can be uncomfortable. You know, going through it is uncomfortable, but then especially depending on what it is, reliving that pain or thinking about that pain, just going through that pain again in some sort of way where you have to kind of maybe not necessarily experience it in maybe not literally, like in the sense that you're going through that exact same situation again, but in the sense that you're thinking about it, or you're talking about it, or you're you know or even trying to or maybe you're even writing about it, or that kind of thing. It's gonna bring back that moment. You're gonna relive that moment, again, in you know as you talk about it or write about it and you're thinking about it, you're really living it, because it's something that was painful. So in doing that, sometimes it can be hard to see the beauty if you don't. Um, if you try if you're trying not to even think about it at all, or trying not to relive that again in any way. So it could be hard to even come to terms with you know to come to terms with it at all, because it's been either so long, or it's been so long and it's just been, or it's just too much. The pain has been too much, and it's just hard, and so it's a lot of it's very difficult. So then you can't it's hard to see the beauty in that, because you're not even giving it, you're not trying to give it any room to to even, you know, for it to be, realized at all. Like you want to just do away with it. And in those cases, that could be a mismanagement of that, of dealing with that pain, because then those dark emotions don't really get dealt with appropriately, don't really get dealt with, um, you know, fully, because and you don't really fully heal, and you don't really fully gain anything from it, because you're not giving it that, you're not able to really grab hold of it and see what is it that, you know, why did this give me such great pain, and then why is it that I'm still holding on to it after all this time? What is this? What is it doing to me right now after all this time? What is it that could possibly be gained from this? Um, has anyone, you know, been through this? What can I do to use this pain to as a tool for progress, or productivity, you know, for myself, rather than it draining me and taking away from who I am or whatever I'm doing, and things of that sort. So these are questions that we can only come to ask ourselves at all if we come face to face with.
I totally agree with that.
If you come face to face
Mm-hmm.
with the pain and what it is that you went through, so
Yeah,
you have to come to face with the pain in order to have that, um,
that makes sense.
and to have that resolve, to take some sort of action, um, towards it, and not allowing it to consume you. You know.
Yeah, it's really important to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be real with yourself, and
Yeah, and then
yeah,
it's that way that you learn your lesson and you keep on loving,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. Because it'll definitely yeah, it'll definitely break you if you don't if you don't deal with it and be honest about it.
Yeah, because God's timing is forever accurate. Trust it, you know? He will
Yeah,
do everything for you at the right time,
yeah. So
you
you have
know?
so you
So,
but and you also have to, you know, do your part, because
that's real. Yeah,
he's always giving you, God's always giving a way out.
right.
So it's like you're going through that pain, you don't see the beauty in it. You
Yeah,
know, God will always give you like an opportunity to try to, to get to see, he'll give you that way out, that, that light at the end of the tunnel kind of situation, as you're going through, but you just can't give up. So you also have to do your part, in the sense that if you give up, then no one can force you to do anything. So you
right.
also have to,
You really gotta believe it.
you gotta
Believe it,
believe,
trust it, allow it,
yeah,
you know?
allow yourself to
Allow
see,
yourself to see
what
and
it is.
give yourself a chance.
Yeah, allow yourself to see what is this right here. What is this that is happening right now, where I can't seem to, you know let it break loose and let it go. This pain, that you're going through. It's something that you have to really just, unveil, and just allow it to be exposed. Sometimes you have to expose it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's something that just has to be, uncovered and dealt with at the end of the day. Um,
Don't ever.
it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, I don't know. As an example, I guess it's like a wound, like when you hurt yourself. You know, you don't want to touch it, right? You don't want to. Sometimes, as a kid, you didn't want your parents to like clean your wound because you knew that they were gonna put like the alcohol and it was gonna hurt. But if
Yeah.
they didn't, it'd get infected
Yeah.
and it'd be worse.
Right.
So that's like an example you could say is like, if you don't deal with the pain now, if you don't deal with the pain now, later on, it's gonna be, it's that 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 rather that beauty
Yeah.
that is there is gonna it'll turn ugly because it's just like you have to deal with it. You have to look at it and deal with it some way somehow. You have to somehow get something from it. You have to somehow get something from it or use it in some way. Because if you ignore it and just push it away for too long, life will always, life will always, keeps going. So, I mean, if you don't deal with that and then something else hurts you and this, you're just going to be covered in wounds that you just don't, you're going to act like they're not there. They're there, but you have to take care of them in some way. You have to deal with them, face them in some way. And
Don't let,
kind of,
yeah, really don't let uncertainty really get ahead of your greatness. You're meant for something big. You always gotta believe it. You always gotta trust your gut that whenever it's the right time, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Just keep working. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep pushing it. Don't give up. And remember, in every obstacle that you're gonna be going through, there's really nothing that comes easy in life.
At the end of the day,
At the end of the day, you're going to face some stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be adversity. There's gonna be some
like
crossroads.
Trust me, it gets hard and then
that's it.
To really accept our situation sometimes. People like to put up the idea of their head, what he thinks, what he this, what he that.
Yeah,
sometimes you have to play on the side and go for it. No one's gonna hate your success. No one will do that. Your parents did their side already. They did what they were supposed to do. They did what God wanted them to do for you. Now that you're here.
Yeah, you have to do whatever it is that you're going through. That success that you're trying to achieve, that dream that you're going for, whatever you're trying to go and get for yourself, whatever stage of life that you're at, honestly, things that you went through, struggles you went through, whatever it is, you're uncertain on how you're uncertain about how you're gonna make it. That uncertainty, that was just mentioned, that uncertainty, that those fears, all of that, it's it kind of just allows it just allows you to really feel like kind of helpless. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that there's better days ahead. But for sure, I'm glad we talked about this one though specifically. I think it's something, or I know it's something that we all go through in regards to pain. So yeah, that's episode 5. So I'm glad y'all tuned in for this one. It's episode 5, and we hope y'all enjoyed this one.
Thank you.
And that's it. Remember, there's always, you definitely can always find beauty in the pain. So Kwanza Global again. Each and every week, we got you guys with a new episode. So that's episode 5, and episode 6 will be coming to you soon.